It's faster, far more powerful. It's thinking for the humans out there as well. But this isn't just an update. It's a warning shot in the global AI war. It's more than just a race. It's turned into a sprint now. The global AI war enters a decisive new chapter that moves beyond simple chat and towards the true autonomy. OpenAI has officially released ChatGPT 5.5, a model designed not just to talk but to act. Positioned as a super app for the desktop, this new version prioritizes productivity and multi-step task handling with over raw wow factor of its predecessors. But it isn't alone. You've got Anthropic's Claude 4.7 is hot on its heels. So how does ChatGPT 5.5 compare with Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.7? In accuracy and trust, GPT 5.5 makes fewer confident mistakes and feels more consistent, more consistent for most of the users out there. Claude is thoughtful but sometimes over-explains things. For speed and everyday use, GPT 5.5 is faster, more concise, making it smoother for regular tasks. And when it comes to coding and complex work, Claude Opus 4.7 still holds a slight edge in very long and difficult projects, whilst GPT 5.5 is strong, fast, and better with tools particularly. For handling big inputs, Claude performs better with very large documents, but GPT 5.5 is good with files, with images, and integrations. Overall, ChatGPT 5.5 is a reliable all-rounder, whilst Claude shines in deep thinking and heavier tasks. The better choice really depends on what you essentially need. And this AI race is also shaking up the global economy. OpenAI and Anthropic are now directly offering AI services to companies around the world. Their fast, AI-led approach is challenging India's traditional IT outsourcing model, which relies on large teams. This could reduce demand for routine tech work, but Indian IT firms still have advantages in scale, talent, and long-term client relationships. Many experts, however, believe Indian companies are now being pushed to move up to higher value AI services. Back home, there is a growing view that India cannot depend only on foreign AI models. Self-reliance in artificial intelligence is becoming a strategic necessity. Domestic AI can solve India-specific problems more effectively. If India builds its own strong AI ecosystem, it could create millions of high-skilled jobs and drive the next trillion-dollar economic boom. It would also strengthen national security and reduce dependence on others. India's huge talent pool and the massive scale, they give it a real chance to become a major AI player, provided it invests seriously in research and development and creates its own AI champions. Look at these big questions that we've got out for you. Can Indian IT firms survive the direct-to-company AI models being offered by OpenAI and Anthropic, or must they fundamentally change from being service providers to software creators? And as we integrate these foreign-built autonomous agents into our banking and governance, how do we ensure that they are aligned with Indian cultural context and national security interests? How fast can India build its own powerful domestic AI models to reduce dependence on OpenAI and Anthropic? I know it's a huge task, but we need to talk about it as well. Pawan Duggal, Chief Executive, AI Law Hub, with us on the broadcast. Good evening to you, sir. Kanish Gaur, Cybersecurity and AI expert, with us on the broadcast as well. Kanish, GPT 5.5 is now default. It's the default brain behind those chat boxes. Is this the moment AI becomes mainstream infrastructure? Have you used it personally? Who do you side with? Opus 4.7 or GPT 5.5? AI is finally learning to say, I don't know, instead of bluffing with those confident mistakes that it keeps on making. More concise answers. There is less clutter. There are fewer emojis, and that is actually a problem. There is better formatting and less fluff when you ask for a response.
I use both OpenAI GPT 5.5 and Claude Opus 4.7. I've taken paid versions of both of these platforms, and I use them what they are good at. So Claude Code is extremely good for working on coding, developing new products, doing research. But when it comes to getting answers to quick questions or getting searches done, when it comes to finding out sources, doing aspects like marketing, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, OpenAI has an advantage because it has got a lot of APIs and libraries aligned to it. So if I was an AI person and who's looking to work with human in the loop with AI, I would use both of them. There is no right software, I would say. It's primarily on your business. If you are looking at running an organization and you have to deploy agents, then Claude is quite helpful in terms of building AI agents and letting them work efficiently across human resource, finance, operations, marketing. You can create AI agents through Claude, and they are quite effective. But when it comes to providing services or searches, OpenAI has its own advantage. So I don't think so it's a fair comparison to look at both of them against each other. Each has its own unique points. Second part, in terms of how can India build its own AI model, we will have to build our own models from customizing open source AI models which are available right now. You've got open source models, Mistral, you've got DeepSeek, you've got Olama. So any company which is looking at building its own proprietary has to customize some of them and let them solve the problem statement. So it could be AI chatbots, it could be voice to AI-based translations, it could be multilinguality, it could be vernacular languages. Those are some of the use cases. It could be agent-led support when it comes to solving customer problems. So all of these are unique use cases which are there right now. And depending on the industry, you could develop some of this. The key thing which is lacking in India is the infrastructure layer, because cloud computing companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft have heavily invested in OpenAI and Claude. We recently saw Claude, Anthropic raise 40 billion from Amazon. So there is no great cloud service provider in India which could be the backbone for enabling these AI.
We're such great consumers, you see, Kanishk, we're such great consumers of any kind of, great international service that's being provided that we're ready to say that, India is doing fine. We don't even ask where is India's OpenAI. We can't name one global foundation model. You just named out 3. I'm sure, less than 2% people would actually know that. But, coming back to the agentic AI versions, let me bring in Mr. Duggal here, because I thought Mr. Duggal wasn't blinking there for a second. I thought maybe that was an AI bot that Mr. Duggal just put up on this discourse. Mr. Duggal, what's your viewpoint? Do you particularly side with one of these models, OpenAI or Claude Opus? Which one do you essentially use? GPT 5.5 and Mythos. They can simulate cyber attacks today. I mean, reminds me of Terminator, Skynet, or Ex Machina, those kind of films that we watched back in the day. Are we entering a crucial arms sprint race? This is not a race, it's a sprint. It's an AI arms sprint. And should such models even be accessible beyond, governments?
There is no denying the fact that we have already entered the AI arms race. Now, AI has begun to start doubling or tripling its capabilities every few months. Every few weeks, we have some new model coming in. Ultimately, I believe that these models are not to be judged together. Why? Because apples and oranges cannot be compared together. I see them more as different rivers who are ultimately flowing to a common ocean. You can choose whatever river you would want to. Ultimately, your destination will be the ocean. In this case, your destination will be your ability to smoothen out your day-to-day works, ability to meet your daily priorities. Now, depending on what your orientation is, you can pick up the concerned model. But now the bigger problem is with the Mythos coming in from Claude. I think it's a different ball game, because within a few hours of it being launched, it actually got unauthorizedly accessed by hackers. And today we don't exactly know who all has got Mythos or not. So suddenly so-called state, non-state actors and private actors suddenly seem very empowered, because who knows who'd be using Mythos or any other similar AI program to prejudicially impact the sovereignty, security, integrity of concerned countries. Mind you, that's not going to happen in the global north. That will happen in the global south. Some city in Africa, some exchange in India, some electricity grid in some underdeveloped part of the countries. Why? Because these are areas where vulnerabilities exist. And because appropriate efforts have not yet been put in to adequately protect the cybersecurity of these critical information infrastructure, I have reason to believe that this is the global south will be the place where we'll see a lot of these misuse of cybersecurity. But ultimately, I come back to the fundamental question. You created a huge, hungry data demon, but you have not started even waking up to the possibility of trying to control it.
Yeah.
Different countries have already started coming up with
regulation
some
is already
regulations for
lagging
AI.
behind that capability. So, how do we essentially fix that? What are the first few steps here, Mr. Dugal?
Our first few steps are very, very clear. We need to go beyond regulation. When I look at all the existing AI laws across the world, I'm very clear that they represent nothing but five blind men trying to describe an elephant. None of them go ahead and address the fundamental issue, the fundamental elephant in the room, which
Yeah.
is AI legal? None of these laws go ahead and deal with the accountability of AI. Now, please understand, AI has begun to started causing harm to humans. And if you do not have appropriate accountability mechanisms, there's going to be virtually no kind of remedy for humans who are harmed by AI. And that's the reason AI accountability is one of the key thrust areas that needs to be specifically focused at. India is launching and conducting the AI Accountability Forum on 14th of May, where we are looking at new emerging legal trends on trying to solidify the jurisprudence around AI accountability. That's one. Number two, we need to look at the intersection of AI and cybersecurity. Some countries have cybersecurity laws, other countries have small AI laws, but the intersection between AI and cybersecurity is now throwing up ramifications which could prejudicially impact not just the physical sovereignty, but also the cyber sovereignty and artificial intelligence sovereignty of countries. Already at a time when digital colonialism is reigning in large, where the global south group of nations are being experimented as guinea pigs by the global south, by the global north group of countries. The time has come that we need to come up at international mechanisms to go ahead and protect the sovereignty of countries in this AI ecosystem.
Where the data,
finally,
Mr. Dugal, that's
I think we
feeding
have
that
to have-
monster, where the data that's feeding the proverbial monster. And you absolutely pointed out digital colonialism. I think that's a moot point here. We shouldn't, digress from that. I'm going to come back to you on that particular point. Running out of time here, let me bring in Kanishk once again here. Kanishk, on the cybersecurity front, very quickly. You see, if GPT 5.5 and Mythos can simulate cyber attacks, are we entering this AI arms race that, Mr. Dugal just pointed out? But if AI can hack systems, who really controls the hacker here? Are companies really prepared for AI-led cyber attacks?
I don't think so. Companies are really ready for AI-led cyber attacks because
So
AI
then the
could
entire
create
global
bots.
south, just like Mr. Dugal pointed out, we're sitting ducks.
We are going to be sitting ducks, and we'll have to build solutions to counter these AI-based cyber attacks, which could be deception, social engineering, phishing. It could also be finding out vulnerabilities in softwares which humans have missed out. So it's going to be a massive turf for cybersecurity companies. And when you saw Claude launching the new model, Mythos, the stock of major cybersecurity companies went down significantly because Mythos is eating up to their market. And there could be an AI platform which could replace some of these softwares big time. So even investors would have that choice. Should they continue to invest in those cybersecurity companies which have been doing work in this space? Would those companies start building AI capabilities themselves? Or would Mythos be the replacement for those cybersecurity companies? That's the basic question today. And it's not $1 million, it's a $1 billion question. You see companies like Anthropic get valuations in billions of dollars. That's because they're able to replace some of these traditional security companies. And Mythos, through the project Glass Wall, has been able to demonstrate what kind of strength and capability it has. And it could replace some of the traditional application security, web application testing, mobile application security companies, because it is able to identify and scan those websites, web applications, databases quite easily and replace them. The speed and agility and the depth. So far with OpenAI, we have seen the depth wasn't there, but with Claude, Mythos, the level of depth in terms of finding software level bugs and vulnerabilities pretty high. And if this gets into the hands of hackers, it could rain havoc, particularly for critical infrastructure, banks, stock exchange, oil and gas.
All sounds so dangerous, so dangerous. Kanishka, and of course, we don't want to strike fear and panic amongst the users. Of course, AI is here to stay. But Mr. Dugal, completely running out of time here. Final 30 seconds. OpenAI and Anthropic are now full-fledged IT service companies. I mean, when somebody reads those kind of headlines, what must go through their minds? Let me pick your brain on that front. Where are we headed when we read these kind of statements? OpenAI, Anthropic, now full-fledged IT service companies. India may be doing fine. OpenAI actually ahead, or benchmarks hiding Claude's real strength. Those are separate questions at the moment. OpenAI and Anthropic now entering the Indian IT farms.
This is actually hitting the death nail into the coffin of these IT security companies. The message is loud and clear. You better well reinvent yourself. Traditional models served you so far so good. No longer they are valid. With now AI companies becoming full service IT companies, your days are numbered. Therefore, the quicker you come up with new manifestation, new avatar, and new customized services which can be relevant in the AI ecosystem, the better it will be. Otherwise, it's a way towards extinction.
Time to reinvent, or might as well get extinct. From writing emails to potentially rewriting the global power structures. That's what we've understood here. AI is no longer a tool, ladies and gentlemen. It's here to stay. It's becoming the system that we now need to live in. Completely run out of time here. Mr. Duggal, many thanks for taking out the time, seeing you after a very long time. And Kanishk, always a pleasure to have you here on News9, AI and cybersecurity expert with us here on the broadcast. I think the bigger question here is, will India build this ecosystem, or are we just ready to live inside this ecosystem? Because just like Mr. Duggal pointed out, this is a new emerging jurisprudence. You either reinvent yourself into a new avatar, you pivot to perish, or you pivot to perish. It's the same end game, both sides around. We're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. That's all the time we have for you in this edition of In Your Interest. Catch you again tomorrow. Many thanks for watching.
New Birla Opus exterior paint gives warranty up to 16 years. Who believes that? I believe.
I do.
I do. I believe it too. New Birla Opus paints gives up to 16 years warranty on walls. That's why it's the new paint for a new era.
बेबो का एक ही रूल, रोज खाओ अंडे विदाउट भूल।
समर में एनर्जी हो जाती है कम, खाओ अंडे एनर्जेटिक।